More high drama in the village of Dalton tonight, where embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard is trying to get down to business.
And that includes spending issues and a controversial move to try to appoint.
Once seen as a rising political star, Tiffany Henyard now finds herself at the center of a storm of corruption allegations. But what lies beneath the surface is far more shocking. A fearless lawyer who has been closely tracking this case is coming forward with startling new revelations. What they've uncovered exposes Tiffany Henyard's manipulation of the court system like never before. This isn't just a case of alleged corruption. This is a calculated game of chess where she's used every deceitful tactic in the book to maintain control over Thornton Township. From twisting court proceedings to exploiting her political power, the truth is far darker than anyone expected. Stick around, because what we're about to reveal will challenge everything you thought you knew about this controversial figure. For months, Tiffany Henyard has faced mounting accusations of mismanaging community funds and engaging in outright corruption. Yet, despite the growing pile of evidence, she has somehow managed to stay one step ahead, leaving many locals scratching their heads in disbelief. But now, a lawyer who wishes to remain anonymous for their own safety has come forward with explosive information. This lawyer claims Henyard has been using her influence to outmaneuver every attempt to hold her accountable, resorting to a series of cunning legal tactics to dodge the consequences. These revelations have sent shockwaves through the community, sparking outrage amongst Thornton Township residents who are demanding a full investigation into her courtroom dealings. According to the anonymous lawyer, Henyard has been playing the system, manipulating court procedures to delay hearings, and buying herself precious time to execute her next move. The mayor, known for her
I will be seeking arrest for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges. It's a lot.
Proclaimed title as super mayor is accused of exploiting legal loopholes and even intimidating key witnesses, all in an effort to maintain her iron grip on power. But the deception doesn't end there. Tiffany Henyard has gone on the offensive, publicly threatening to arrest political opponents, accusing them of plotting a smear campaign against her. In a nearly 90-minute Facebook rant, Henyard lashed out at her critics, including members of her own administration, calling them conspirators and vowing to take swift action against them. The question remains, how far is she willing to go to stay in control? And what else is she hiding? The truth behind this story is more twisted than we could have ever imagined, and it's only just beginning to unravel. Stay with us as we dive deeper into the web of deception surrounding Tiffany Henyard, exposing the lengths she's gone to protect her power and the shocking revelations that could change everything. Since her election in 2021, Tiffany Henyard's administration has been in the spotlight, but not for the reasons she would have hoped. Her time in office has been overshadowed by allegations of power abuse and lavish spending funded by taxpayers. But according to an insider lawyer closely following the case, Henyard's game plan is as calculated as it is bold. Allegedly, she's figured out how to play the legal system like a seasoned professional, keeping herself insulated from the consequences of her actions. One of the biggest red flags surrounding her administration is a financial report that has raised serious concerns. Recently, Henyard submitted a report that trustees are accusing her of intentionally falsifying in order to manipulate Dalton's finances. The anonymous lawyer supporting these claims says that the financial records were tampered with, showing shady transactions and likely unauthorized by the trustees. For Henyard, this is far from a new accusation. Critics have long accused her of recklessly spending taxpayer dollars, despite drawing a hefty paycheck of over $300,000 a year from her dual roles as Dalton's mayor and Thornton Township's supervisor. But here's the real kicker. Henyard's audacity in submitting these altered financial reports, even with all eyes on her, has left many stunned. Sources close to the case suggest she did this to downplay growing scrutiny and hide irregularities that could expose her administration's financial misdeeds. And while this story may sound juicy, it's not even the most alarming part. The lawyer also revealed something even more disturbing. Henyard has allegedly been using intimidation tactics to silence whistleblowers and officials, digging into her corruption. Reports suggest she's been cozying up to the Dalton Police Department, using their influence to stop anyone from speaking out. But there's more. Several witnesses who initially came forward to testify against her have suddenly recanted. Insiders claim these individuals withdrew their statements after facing threats of job losses and legal action. The sheer number of people backing down has raised serious questions about how far Henyard is willing to go to keep her secrets buried. If these allegations prove true, it's not just shady. It's witness tampering and obstruction of justice, a clear breach of ethics, especially for someone in public office, and if confirmed, it could mean serious legal trouble for the embattled mayor. But the story doesn't stop there. Henyard is also facing accusations of stalling court proceedings. Her legal team has reportedly filed motion after motion to delay hearings, citing various reasons. But insiders believe this is all part of a bigger strategy. The anonymous lawyer claims Henyard is trying to buy as much time as possible to hold on to her position, delaying investigations and dragging out the legal process long enough to avoid any convictions. Her ultimate goal? To serve out her term without facing any consequences, exiting on her own terms. This alleged delay tactic is stirring outrage in Thornton Township. Media sources have corroborated the claims, reporting that Henyard and her legal team are intentionally dragging out the process in a calculated move to run out the clock on her time in office. Local leaders are now demanding an independent investigation, calling this a massive betrayal of public trust. The pressure is mounting and the calls for answers are growing louder. And as if all of this drama wasn't enough, let's talk about the eviction lawsuit Henyard is now facing from her landlord. Yes, you heard that right. Despite earning a six-figure salary from her two positions, she's being sued for months of unpaid rent. How does someone with that kind of money fail to pay rent? The embarrassment of this situation is escalating, and it's about to take a turn you won't want to miss. What was initially chalked up as a simple case of forgetfulness, with many expecting Tiffany Henyard to quickly settle her unpaid rent, has instead exploded into yet another scandal. This time, it's not just accusations of corruption or frivolous taxpayer spending, it's her refusal to pay rent that's making headlines, and it's adding fuel to the fire of her already controversial tenure. Janetta Hall, Henyard's landlord, recently spoke out about the situation, revealing her fears of losing her home to foreclosure because of Henyard's non-payment. I think in her mind, she feels untouchable, Hall shared with news outlets. Janetta Hall, who has known the Henyard family for over 20 years, originally trusted the mayor to be a reliable tenant, an assumption that seemed reasonable given that Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, reportedly pull in a combined annual income of over $375,000. So, how could a couple earning that much money suddenly skip out on months of rent? Many believe this is just another example of Henyard's alleged disregard for accountability. Hall explained that their relationship began to sour after Henyard raised the rent due to a spike in property taxes. Despite the increase, most assumed the couple could easily afford the new rate, but in August they stopped paying rent altogether, and things quickly escalated from there. In an outrageous twist, Henyard and Woods didn't just refuse to pay, they allegedly went as far as changing the locks and security passcodes to keep Hall out of the property entirely. Hall, who was once a part of Henyard's campaign team, expressed her frustration, stating that the sheriff's office has been unable to serve eviction papers because they can't even locate Henyard, neither at home nor at her office. The situation has caused an uproar online, with many questioning how a public official responsible for an entire township can't even manage something as basic as paying rent. Evictions happen every day, but an eviction involving a sitting mayor? That's next-level drama, and the audacity to block the landlord from accessing her own property has people shaking their heads, wondering just how deep Henyard's alleged sense of entitlement really goes. But the drama doesn't stop there. The latest twist in Henyard's ever-growing scandal involves a shocking betrayal from one of her most loyal supporters, trustee Stanley Brown. For those keeping track of Dalton's political drama, you'll know that Brown has been one of Henyard's strongest backers, even when the allegations against her were piling up. But now, Brown has had enough. He's officially flipped sides and is now calling for accountability. Here's where it gets even messier. Henyard's attorney, Max Solomon, recently filed a lawsuit against the Board of Trustees. But there's a major twist. Neither Brown nor the other trustee allegedly knew their names were being used in the lawsuit. Brown outright denied ever consenting to be a part of it and made it clear he was blindsided by the move. What this means is that Henyard and her legal team allegedly filed the lawsuit, claiming to represent Brown and Hall without their approval. Talk about shady. In response, the trustees have struck back with their own motion, demanding sanctions against Henyard and her attorney for what they're calling a serious breach of trust. This move seems to have backfired spectacularly. Stanley Brown, a respected voice in the community, didn't just distance himself from Henyard, he's now publicly distancing from the entire ordeal. In a bold move, trustee Stanley Brown wrote an open letter slamming Tiffany Henyard for dragging his name into this mess without his permission. This could very well be the nail in the coffin for Henyard's dwindling support. Burning bridges with a key ally like Brown only adds fuel to the fire, intensifying the pile of problems she's already facing. Right now, it's clear that Henyard is fighting a losing battle, with multiple lawsuits filed by members of her own community and an FBI investigation into the alleged misuse of federal funds. The walls are quickly closing in on her. This latest stunt, falsifying legal representations, seems like a desperate Hail Mary to stay afloat, but it's only digging her deeper into a hole. And the drama doesn't stop there. Mainstream news outlets are beginning to catch wind of the chaos unfolding in Dalton, and it's only a matter of time before the story blows up even bigger. Tiffany Henyard's scandals are quickly becoming a public spectacle, and from where we stand, it's clear this story is far from over. So, if you want to stay in the loop on everything happening with Tiffany Henyard, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. This train wreck is only getting juicier from here.